Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Women's Tennis Through the Decades. This is the decade of the 2000s. We've got a great group tonight joining head coach Tammy Cicchini and one of our current student athletes, Dax Seidlin. Dax is a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm sure she wishes she was in that warmth with 21 inches of snow outside as we speak tonight. My name is Todd Newcomb. I want to thank Geisinger as our sponsor for tonight's event. Geisinger does a great job day in and day out with our student athletes here at Bucknell, and they've done an absolutely fantastic job throughout the pandemic here in the local community. So thank you to Geisinger. As I mentioned, we've got the decade of the 2000s. I'm going to introduce our guests, and then I'll turn it over to Coach Cicchini, and she and Dax will ask them a few questions. Our first guest today from the class of 2005. And I'm going to go by their maiden names because that's the name that most Bucknellians will recognize these women by. Our first guest from the class of 2005 is Tanya Sitchko. She was a team captain during the 2004-2005 season. She ranks 5th all-time at Bucknell with 148 combined career wins, 3rd with 86 singles wins, and 8th with 62 doubles victories. Tanya won 67.9% of all of her matches to rank 12th on the all-time list. She was an All-Patriot League second team selection in 2005. Our next guest is Veronica Brown from the class of 2006, probably better well known as Ronnie. And she was a team captain during the 2005-2006 season. She ranks 3rd all-time at Bucknell with 161 combined career wins, 4th with 79 singles wins, and 2nd with 82 doubles victories. Ronnie won 63.9% of all of her matches to rank 15th on the all-time list. She was an All-Patriot League second team selection in 2003 and an All-Patriot League first team selection in both 2005 and 2006. In 2003, she was also the Patriot League Rookie of the Year. Veronica won the Lee S. Bud Rank Memorial Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest, also from the class of 2006, Chelsea Mills. She was a team captain as well during the 05-06 season. She ranks 8th all-time at Bucknell with 123 combined career wins, 7th with 73 singles wins, and 14th with 50 doubles victories. She won 71.1% of all her matches to rank 9th on the all-time list. Chelsea was an All-Patriot League second team selection in 2006, earned ITA Scholar Athlete honors in both 2004 and 2005, and Chelsea won the Ronald J. Pete Pedrick Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest, rounding out the decade of the 2000s and jumping over a little bit into 2010, is Lauren Lucido from the class of 2011. Lauren was a team captain in both the 2009, 2010, and 2010-2011 seasons. She ranks 2nd all-time at Bucknell with 170 combined career wins, 2nd with 87 singles wins, and she's the career leader with 83 doubles victories. She won 70.5% of her matches to rank 10th on the all-time list. She was an All-Patriot League second team selection in both 2008 and 2009, and she was an All-Patriot League first team selection in both 2010 and 2011. She's also a member of the Patriot League's 25th anniversary team, and Lauren won the Bradley N. Tufts Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. So, Coach, you've got a great group of very accomplished players. I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's have some fun.
Thank you. Wow, that was really, really impressive. Thank you, everyone, for spending some time with Dax and I tonight. I recognize many of your names, so it's really nice to be able to put your name to a face. So, Chelsea, I want to start with you first. So, before we begin asking you some questions about your Bucknell memories, I'm going to ask you all the same questions. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are right now, where you're living, what you and your family have been doing during quarantine? Please tell us a little bit about your career and if you have any pets.
Okay, yeah, sure. Hey guys. Hey Tanya, I just want to say hey. Hey girl, love you. Yeah, I have in the last week I moved to Orlando. And I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for the last 10 years. I was working as a tennis coach, kind of running my own business. I was doing lessons and clinics and whatever. And then I was also working at a high school, coaching a girls' high school team on the side. And since then, or I want to backtrack a little bit. I was also a collegiate coach at Tufts University for them. And then I went to UNC Charlotte. So that's kind of how I got to Charlotte. And literally in the last week, I moved to Orlando. For the past year, I've segued into a company called Winning Mindset. So now I'm doing very similar to sports psych, but it's more of an actual program that we run athletes through in all sports. So I have tennis players, I have hockey players, I have gymnasts, I have soccer players, I have like every sport, and it's really cool. So we work with teams and athletes, and my company is based out of New York City, but all of our coaches are remote, which is really nice. So I didn't know how to change my background. I was trying to make it a little, but I kind of forgot at the end. So yeah, we do a lot of Zoom. We do a lot of virtual sessions with individuals and teams. And I just love it. I think it's so cool. I can go more into that later. And let's see, I am recently single, and that's a good thing. And I have a pet. His name is Roman. He is a white fluffy bear. He's a Samoyed, and he's a dog. I think so. Yeah, Orlando, Winning Mindset. I have a dog, and I don't know if I answered all your questions.
You did.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you still able to coach?
Tennis?
Yeah, coach tennis.
So I'm on purpose stepping away because I am a professional water skier. So I'm trying to be a professional athlete in another sport, and it's taxing. So I'm trying to move my work off court, which I have now successfully done. It was sort of a transitional period where I was doing both for a while, and now I'm full-time with Winning Mindset.
Cool. If I can ask you one more question about your time in Charlotte. So I see that you were a high school coach in the Charlotte area. So I'm recruiting a girl from the Charlotte area. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Maggie Gehrig. She goes to Charlotte Catholic High School.
Oh, yeah. I should know her. I mean, I'd have to check it out,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. I don't spend a lot of time around, the USTA tournaments or anything,
Okay.
and we didn't play Charlotte Catholic. So
Okay. All right.
maybe somewhere.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Tanya, can you give us an update where you're living, your family, your career, and if you have any pets? We're a huge pet loving team, so I always ask that question.
Well, that's a good thing. So I'm now Tanya Cumelot, and I've been back in my hometown of Boulder, Colorado, since 2006, so almost 15 years now. Let's see, I am married to a great guy, and we have 2 kids, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. So they keep us very busy. I just got back from taking the 7-year-old to tennis practice, so that's fun. Yeah, start them young. And
are you doing any coaching yourself?
Not a ton. I got back into playing after my youngest one was born, and I was supposed to captain my 5-0 team last year, but we all know how that went.
Yeah.
So that I'm hoping to get it together this year, but we're still waiting to see what Colorado's doing for everything. But I'm still playing a few times a week. There's actually a pretty impressive group of solid 4-5, 5-0 players in Colorado these days. So it's really fun
Are you going through the whole cycle, like mixed, combo?
Yeah, my favorite is actually mixed.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of fun with that.
So is it a
And
10-0 league, 9-5?
yeah, 10-0 and 9-5. My 9-5 team in 2019 went to sectionals, which was a lot of fun. So,
Okay,
that's
great. Yeah.
we lost by one match to make it to nationals. So that
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah.
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun. I work for a pretty great company running the IT for Only Natural Pet. So clearly a pet lover.
Tell us
Um,
more.
so we do natural pet products for dogs and cats, and we sell them online in PetSmart and Chewy. So all natural food, great quality ingredients. We're a B Corp, which if anyone knows what that is, so we try to not just for profit, but for bettering the world. And so we say we're for pets, people, planet, and profit.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
and let's see, I have 2 dogs, a giant one named Bear,
Uh-huh.
and a smaller one named Penny. And then we have a cat named Merlin and 7 chickens. So kind of a zoo. But
Do they lay eggs?
they do, yeah.
Okay. Did you name the 7 chickens? Do they all have names?
We don't name chickens because sometimes they can have a little bit of circle of life going
Okay,
on.
understood. We talk about the circle of life a lot here in my family. So, oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Lauren, where are you? Where are you living?
I am in Baltimore. So I live in Federal Hill, right by the harbor. Let's see, going through the questions. I have a dog. She's actually right by my feet. That's why I was on mute, and I didn't want you guys to hear her. She is a German Shepherd. She is, I think, 4. She keeps me busy.
Yeah.
I work in marketing. So my family, my parents started a real estate team. Actually, when I went to Bucknell, my mom got a real estate license because she needed something to do to occupy her time, since she wasn't going to be traveling to tournaments with me anymore. And then my freshman year, my dad had worked in new home sales. They had a new home sales company. With the way that the market was, they ended up closing that and going into residential resale. So I actually head up our marketing department. We have 4 offices here in Maryland, and we have expansion offices all over. So we are part of Keller Williams. So you probably heard of Keller Williams. And
They sold one of my homes.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, in New Hampshire.
Awesome. We actually have a expansion location in Orlando. So Chelsea, if you have any real estate needs, I have a great agent who works on our team in Orlando. So yeah, I do marketing. I work with our agents here in the United States. We have a couple locations in Canada as well. So that keeps me pretty busy.
Cool. Thank you. I love your wallpaper. Is that wallpaper?
Oh, it is. Yes. Actually, it's fake wallpaper.
Is it peel and stick?
It is. Yeah.
Good stuff. Veronica, how are you?
I have to break the trend. I have 0 pets, but I'm working on trying to get a dog. So we were going to become one of those quarantine dog families, but it fell through.
Yeah.
So-
So what are you researching? Are you researching breeds?
So we're going to go with the Golden Doodle.
Yes.
It's just a matter of which breeder we
Okay.
like and go with.
Okay, good. Yeah, we got a quarantine dog. She's a golden retriever. So
Okay.
she follows me everywhere.
Nice.
Everywhere. Yes. And Dax has one too.
Oh
Dax's
my
dog comes with us to all of our matches.
So sweet. I like that name too, Buddy. That's sweet.
Yeah.
But I'm in Northern Virginia, so specifically Oakton. Moved here in 2009, graduated an accounting major, then I started with Ernst & Young, met my husband. We've been married for almost 12 years now, which ages me. I'm not that old. We have a 4-year-old boy named Grant and a 1-year-old daughter named Ella, both of which will become Bucknellians. So I'm instilling that in them now.
Are they playing tennis?
So the 4-year-old likes to somewhat play tennis. He has more of a baseball swing, so we're trying to correct that. But hopefully they'll be tennis players.
Cool.
But I'm currently with Verizon in the finance org, so using my accounting degree, and that's where I stand.
That's great. Cool. Thank you. So next question, Lauren, I'm going to start with you first. So recruiting is nonstop for me and like literally doing it all the time, like all the time. And I tell my recruits the ultimate goal for them is to be happy. Can you tell us how many schools you apply to? How did you hear about Bucknell and why did you choose Bucknell?
Yeah, so I only applied to one. I applied early to Bucknell.
Okay.
I had done extensive research. I remember my mom, I had like an actual file, like a file box of folders, and each school had its own folder. My guidance counselor at my high school, I went to St. Paul's School for Girls in Baltimore. My guidance counselor had suggested Bucknell. There were a handful of schools that he suggested, and Bucknell was one of them. I think a girl a year older than me had gone to Bucknell, and she was an athlete as well. So did some research, looked it up online, and we went. My mom and I went. I think it was like a fall. We drove up one weekend, and it was like the picturesque, perfect Bucknell, like the perfect Bucknell weather. I still remember, like, we drove onto campus and the leaves, the leaves were the orange color, and it was like it was that, like, it sounds so cheesy, and I remember even being back then like trying to explain it to my friends or like my family, but like I just had that feeling that like this is where I want to go to school. And then I met the coach, had conversations, talked to some of the girls. I did an official visit at Bucknell. I also did an official visit at Richmond. I was speaking to, a couple other coaches as well, but those were the only two that I ended up doing official visits on. And then pretty quickly afterwards, I decided that Bucknell was where I wanted to apply.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Tanya, are you originally from Colorado?
Yeah, I am a Colorado native, but my parents are both from Pennsylvania. And
Okay.
so that was actually a little bit what led me to Bucknell in Pennsylvania. I was recruited by Lehigh and Lafayette. And while I was out visiting them, we decided to swing by Bucknell. And the moment, similar to you, Lauren, the moment we drove up to campus, I was just floored by the fall colors, and I met Coach Helt, and just felt like it would be a really strong fit. I was looking at engineering and playing a Division I sport, and Coach promised to help me balance that. And it just kind of turned out to be a really great fit. Same thing, I went early decision. So that was really great to have that all wrapped up, and just that confidence of knowing what you were doing the next year was really nice.
Right.
And I had relatives about an hour down the road in Mechanicsburg. So they didn't know much about tennis, but they would come up and support me. So that was always a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Veronica.
So I was a little unique because I was set on going to school down south or in Texas.
Okay.
And my sister played tennis in college, and she kind of sat me down because I was looking at larger D1 schools.
Okay.
And she was just like, you should get a all-around college experience.
Mhm.
You should play tennis in college, but also major in something that you can use afterwards and that you're passionate about, and then also have the social aspect.
Right.
So
Good balance.
I then kind of shifted gears and started looking more up north for schools that were smaller in size, but still
Mhm.
D1. And then Coach Helt ended up sending me a letter. And I remember coming downstairs to my mom being like, have you ever heard of Bucknell? And she's like, yes, we're going to check it out. It's a great school because my mom teaches at University of Maryland. So
Okay.
I was kind of always like, that'll be my default. If like things don't work out for me, I could always play at Maryland. But so I took an official recruiting visit. Again, fell in love with, the Bucknell campus, the changing of the leaves, fell in love with the girls on the team and Coach Howard. And similar to you, Tanya, just meeting you and making me feel so at home. I was like, this is where I'm going to go. And my dad didn't like that as much because he was like, I have to pay. But I was like, it's meant to be. And so
Yeah.
that's how I ended up, and I applied early as well.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
So yeah, I have a bit of a different experience. I spent my whole time deciding where to go to college, trying to get Coach Helt to talk to me, and trying to get her to just sit down with me. And when she finally did sit down with me, she was like, yeah, I don't think so. And I had no USTA ranking. I had no experience really at all. And I was like, well, will you let me try out? And she said yes. And so I don't know why I thought that I was going to make the team, but I thought I was. And so that's what I did. But I was kind of between Mary Washington College and Bucknell. The Mary Washington College coach kind of knew me through another high school player that I played with. So I had like a little bit of a gauge of collegiate tennis, but not a very good one. So yeah. And then my dad went to Bucknell. So he was like, you got to see it. You got to see it. And I was like, no, I'm never going to Bucknell. That's not happening. And then he's like, well, just come with me one time, I'll get you to sit down with the coach. And then I went and I loved it. But coach was like, I don't think so. And so I was like, will you let me come and try out? And she said yes.
Wow. That's determination. So that's
Yeah.
great. So that's really awesome that all you guys just really fell in love with Bucknell right when you saw it. So Dax, why did you choose Bucknell?
Well, of course, as they said, when I stepped on campus, it was so beautiful. And actually, when I came here, it was really important for me to have a team that had a great bond. And I visited multiple times throughout a couple of years, and always the team was just so close. And I sat in on some of their meetings. Coach Howard allowed me to, and they just spoke so well with each other and had so much fun. So I just loved that.
Cool.
And the courts are beautiful, of course, too.
All right, Dex, do you have any questions? I know you do.
Okay, I'll start with Miss Veronica. So what advice would you give me or any of the other players that are in our program today about the college tennis experience at Bucknell?
That's a good question. I would say just make every minute matter. Whether that's on the court, just leave it all on the court. Have no regrets. Whether it's in the classroom, challenge yourself and really push yourself to learn more. I would say try to go outside of your comfort zone and take classes that you wouldn't otherwise, because you are in such I would say your best years, 4 years of life, where you have everything at your fingertips. And I would just use that to your advantage.
Awesome. Okay. I'll just go in order on my screen. So Miss Tanya, what would you say?
I think Ronnie stole my answer. No, yeah, no, similar to that. Like, yeah, just really envelop yourself in all that there is to learn, and just the wonderful facilities. I know Bucknell doesn't have indoor courts still, but the amazing athletic facilities and trainers. Like, I think just learning all there is, just not just about tennis, but about your body and movement and, you know, studying sports psychology, even if that's not what you're going to end up pursuing or anything. There's just so many opportunities and so many great, passionate people. I mean, one of my favorite parts about Bucknell was the small class sizes, and I'm still in touch with a couple of my professors, and you know, that came from just getting to know them. So
Yeah, hopefully someone out there, if they're watching this after it gets put on the website, maybe we can get indoor courts on campus one day. But Miss Chelsea, what would you say?
You know, I think one of my most memorable lessons from Coach Helt was to be your own best self-coach. And now that I've been a coach at the Division I and Division III level for tennis, I know how hard it is to juggle the number of players and the different needs of all the players. And so my best advice to you is to stay on top of your own game. And like, if you need to go out and fix your forehand, get coach or her assistant or someone to come do that with you. If you feel like your speed is not what it could be on the court, go put time into that with the trainer. Because your coach can't know exactly what you need. Or if you need, hey, like, I just need more tools in the toolkit. I need more strategies in doubles. I need more strategies in singles. Whatever the case is, or you think your communication with your doubles partner isn't good, work on it. Like, do it yourself. Don't wait for your coach to make everything happen for you, because it won't. She can't do it for everyone. So you have to kind of take initiative and be your own best positive self-coach.
That's really good advice. Miss Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of that, and Chelsea, like, I keep looking at your background, and literally, you know, 3 hours ago on a call, you know, work call with my team, we're talking about mindset. Like, that was the topic of our, you know, conversation. And this isn't sports, this is real estate, right? So I think that so much of my time at Bucknell, and especially, you know, playing tennis, being an athlete, like, built me, like, helped set me up for life. There's a lot of things, like, there's so many parallels in sports and just life in general. And I think that, like, I think that being able to kind of have, like, college be, I don't want to say like a test run, but like before real life starts, right? So I think being an athlete helped prepare me for, you know, for being an adult. And I also would just say, like, enjoy it, have fun. Like, even just talking about this is making me, like, so, like, I miss it so much. And like, I loved Bucknell, and I ended up, like, I chose Bucknell. One of the major reasons was because I wanted to go abroad. And Coach Helt had said that she would let me go abroad. And there were a couple of coaches that I'd spoken to that didn't allow their players to go abroad. So, like, that was a huge reason, right? Well, by the time it came time to, like, start planning for it, I didn't want to go anymore, because I didn't want to miss, like, a whole semester not at Bucknell. Like, and looking, I loved Bucknell, and I think that just like, enjoy everything, even the you know, the stress and the hard times, or the matches, or like, even the looking back, like, even the early morning, like 6 a.m. lifts. Well, like, that stuff, like I miss that stuff now. So I think, and it's all it's all, you know, character building, and it really helped prepare me for just to, like, you know, to be an adult and be a, you know, professional woman out there, building a career. And I think that just have fun with it. Make sure that you enjoy every minute of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is really good advice. And Dax and I were smiling a little bit at the 6 a.m. workouts, because we've been having 7 a.m. practice for the past 2 days. So, and we were also talking about, you know, we're coming back. This is the second semester, and it just goes by so fast. You know, the seniors, this is it for them, and the freshmen are like, I can't believe I'm almost a sophomore. And Dax, I can't believe you're almost a junior. So
Yeah, and even today I was telling coach, it's just so nice to be like back on the court with my team and practicing. And being a student athlete, there's just nothing like it. Like, I wish everyone could get to experience it. It's so nice to escape and play your sport.
yeah. And I know during COVID, we've been really, really lucky here at Bucknell and our team that everyone's been able to stay healthy. We've got 10 players. You know, they had a choice to go remote, and all of them came back, and they came back again. And yeah, we've been really having a good time. So I'll start with Veronica for this question. So when you got the email from Todd to participate in this Zoom call tonight to talk about the tennis team, what are some of the memories that just came flooding back? Which ones are like the best ones that you think about?
Besides the gut-wrenching, 3-3 tied matches where, you're the lone wolf out there trying to win for your team, I don't miss. I miss the bus rides and the spring break trips. Like, I miss really having that time to bond with the girls. And those bonds are some of which, Chelsea was in my wedding, and, it's those lifelong friendships that you're making, over those next 4 years that you just can't, you just can't miss in my mind. You're never going to have an experience like that again. And I just love those bus trips, the spring break trips, to connect with all the girls. We had so many different backgrounds and personalities that we became best friends. And that's something that you try to talk to non-athletes and they just don't understand.
Right.
So
those bus rides.
Yes.
Those bus rides are the best. Chelsea, how about you? What do you think?
Same thing. Just the bus rides, and we ate like every meal together, like lunch and dinner, and we just Tanya and I lived together.
Wow.
Cracking up on the eating.
Gosh, we would eat like 14 portions. I mean, it was
all you can eat still.
We would steal menus from restaurants and hang them in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know how we ate all that. But yeah, it was just a good time. And even though we had some like really different personalities on the team, like we were really close.
Awesome.
And I remember like just the joking around with our coach and on the bus and, the hotel rooms. And I remember like one of my favorite memories is when it was like freshman year and we were getting ready to leave for a match. And it was like, we stayed in a hotel, and Ronnie and Maria, I think, they were like late. They were only like 5 minutes late, but we saw them coming out of the hotel and we were all on the bus. And so we just started driving away on purpose so that they would have to run after the bus. And like we acted, and coach was like, just watch this, guys. And she just laid into them. She was like, you guys are going to have to run to the courts. Like, you're just going to have to run to the courts. And like, they were like, coach, like, do we get to put our bags on the bus at least? Like, and she was like, no. She was totally messing with them, but it was hilarious. And she messed with them until they were like basically in tears. and then they got on the bus, but it was pretty funny.
And I'm a very punctual person, so I will say that was not the norm for me.
The same thing happened to us. It was like, and there were 3 freshmen my year, and I'm pretty sure it was our spring break trip. And it was like the first, we got down there and we were supposed to have, I can't remember if we had to run or if we were just had practice. And somehow all of us, like the 3 freshmen were together, and we slept through our alarms. And so we came down and we were late, and she did the same thing to us. And we had to run. And oh my God, we were new, we were young, we were freshmen, and we were like terrified. And I to this day, like when I have to wake up, I set like 9 alarms like that. That like instilled in me that I can't trust 1 alarm or 2. I have to set like multiple alarms. We are never late again.
Right.
But like the bus trips, I mean, I remember we used to get, driving up to Army. I remember Pizzle, we got lost and like we literally were driving in circles up this mountain for like 2 hours and we were exhausted, but like I don't know, it was funny. And after I graduated, I remember being like, God, I couldn't look at like a Subway or like one of those like Sprint buses, but now it's like I miss that stuff. That's
Right.
the stuff that like makes like those are the memories.
Right. It's funny that the memories that we have are just about our teammates and the bus rides and being late. It's not really about, the matches and the points and who won what and stuff like that.
I mean, I have plenty of them. Like I have plenty of them.
True.
But like, I mean, I don't know, you remember some of the big wins, and I also remember the losses against Army, especially. But
Right. Right. Well, I'm going to stick with you, Lauren. So I've spoken to Coach Helt a couple times when I got here, and she was so helpful with so much advice for me. And I want Dax and the players on the team to have some of their best 4 years of their life here at Bucknell. So what advice or what did Coach Helt do for you and the team that I can do for my team to make it, some good times here for Dax, some of the, having the best 4 years of her life here? Anything advice that you can give me?
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, I think, we had to be disciplined. She also gave us the flexibility to be able to, how do I say this? So she gave us the options, right? So like things, we had things that we had to do and then the things that were optional, and ended up doing the things that were optional, even though they weren't forced. And I think that made, that helped us all sort of bond and like work to share that, not work to share, but come to share that similar sort of like dedication and drive and want, I guess, like to, want to succeed and everyone to do their own part. Because tennis is one of those weird sports, right? So like most of like growing up, you're not really playing much doubles, right? Like I hated doubles. I didn't want to play doubles when I got to Bucknell. Like all through juniors, like we'd play a couple tournaments, but I mainly focused on singles. And I was like, I'm a singles player. Singles is my strength. Like I'm not a doubles player. And Coach Helt forced me to like challenge myself and do it. And I ended up, it ended up being great. And I think also going off of that, when you're like working with like doubles is hard, right? So like you could be best friends and like not mesh well together, or you could not be great friends but like be great on the tennis court together. So I think that just specifically, in terms of doubles, or really just being on a team and together, you have to learn to work with differences, and also like figure out how to overcome them and like deal with situations that maybe aren't ideal, but that like you share a common goal and working to overcome. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you. Chelsea, is there any advice that you can give me to make this a great time for Dax?
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to tell you what I try to live by, because I'm a coach. I was a collegiate coach, and then I was working with private clients, and then also working with high school teams and college teams, and now coaching athletes of all levels. The saying that I sort of live by is, they don't care that you know until they know that you care. And so if you invest in the relationships with the players and you become like a big sister to them on campus, they'll do anything for you. Anything. And also make team bonding and the chemistry on the team a big priority. And I think one way to do that is to have an extremely open relationship with your captains, so that you actually have a little in on what's going on the team, so that you can actually like fix things before they become problems. I think it's an issue when the coach is like trying to be above and just focus on the winning. That I think, you know, I've read your stuff. I have great respect for you already. So I'm probably telling you stuff you already know, but that's just my experience and my mistakes in the past have been when I've focused on winning. That has been the worst thing for my teams.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, any advice?
Yeah, I think one thing that jumps out to me, and it was an experience that I had not as a coach necessarily, but as an older sister. I'm 6 years older than my brother, and he was about 21, and we were in a massive fight. And he was still mad at me for something that I did in college. And I was like, Chris, I was only 20 years old.
Right.
You have to give me some grace and understanding that, you know, I was younger than you are right now. And I think, Dax, no offense, you're an adult and everything, but you're still so young. I mean, I'm more than 15 years out of college, and I'm still young and learning. And, you know, like I said before about opportunities at Bucknell, there's so many opportunities to learn. And one of them is just learning about being on a team, because that's something that you're going to take with you the rest of your life. Like, no matter what you're doing, if you're an entrepreneur or like working for someone else or running your own coaching program, you're always going to be working with people and at different stages in their own lives. And so understanding, you know, that they might just not have the skills or have learned how to handle different situations and need that advice of how to work through it. And it does end up playing back to your coaching game or your tennis game and everything. So
Thank you. Veronica?
Say, just stay on top to get us legit indoor tennis courts. I'm sorry, I just had to, you know, had to make that comment known.
Thank you.
In all seriousness, that is a serious comment. But good advice is just always be approachable. I think I love that about Coach Helt, where I could always talk to her about anything in a judgment-free zone. And, you know, some of these girls walking onto campus, it's their first time leaving their parents. So they're going to make mistakes. And to have you to help build them up and let them know that it's okay. I think that's, you know, something that they'll always treasure once they look back at their 4 years, is knowing that they had you to talk to them about everything and anything.
Sounds good. Thank you. Dax.
Okay, so I will start with Miss Chelsea. What advice do you have about networking and finding the right job after Bucknell? I think your sound isn't on.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I would say just make absolutely sure that you are passionate about what you're going to try to get into. Because being in a job that you don't like or you're not passionate about is not fun. It was like the worst year of my life was my first year out of college, because I took a job that was insanely boring, just to have a job, just to have a good job. And I did it for like the wrong reasons, to be in some high rise in the middle of Boston, you know, and I just wasn't true to myself and what I wanted to do and what my heart and what God has told me that my gifts are. And so I'd say, like, listen to your heart in terms of what you're passionate about, and also pay attention to the gifts that God has given you and just pursue those versus what everyone else is telling you to do. That I think if you stay true to yourself, that will serve you well, and then network in those areas. And I think a lot for me, I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. I was a psychology major. That's like the major where you're like, I have no idea what I want to do. So yeah, and so it was super interesting, but I didn't ask enough questions. I didn't ask enough adults, what do you do? And so that I got a good sense of what is out there for ranges of possibilities. I just didn't even know like what an adult life could be, or the possibilities in that. And so just ask a lot of questions whenever you're around adults that you haven't met before. Hey, what do you do for work? Just ask. So, and eventually you're going to meet somebody that's like, that does something you're like, oh, that is something I could see myself doing. And then you start talking to them and networking with them.
What was the first job you took that year?
I was in accounting at Hill Holiday, which is a huge advertising agency in Boston.
Okay. Miss Lauren, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, so put yourself out there. Always take an opportunity. I know things are different in this environment with COVID, but grab coffee, meet, like take every opportunity to just, explore and learn more. And, working in marketing, I would say just always like market yourself. Don't ever feel like, don't let yourself have any, limiting beliefs. And I think the most important thing is look for people who love what they do, people who are going to brighten your world. I really believe that finding that whatever, you'll be successful if you're passionate about it. Like Chelsea said, if you're not loving it, if it's boring, you're not going to thrive in it. And I also think when I graduated, like I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I took the summer off and I was going to pursue professional tennis, and ended up, finding a job. But I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. I knew that I didn't want to work with my parents. That was the one thing. I wasn't going to work in real estate. I wasn't going to work with my parents. I had a different job for about a year and a half, and then, fell into this. So I'd also say, don't let yourself think one way or another. Sort of follow, let things happen and be open to, be open to your path.
Okay, awesome. Miss Tanya.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, similar to what Lauren and Chelsea have said, but also I think as you're looking for opportunities and everything, I think asking what problems you want to solve in the world, getting a Bucknell degree is a huge privilege. I can pretty confidently say that everyone I know coming out of Bucknell, at the end of the day, you never have to be truly worried about your ability to get a job to pay the bills. You're going to be able to do that. So looking for places that are solving interesting problems, whether that's what I've found with Only Natural Pet, where we're trying to make the world a better place through high quality pet products, but also the business is about taking care of the employees and paying people a livable wage, making our community sustainable and everything. So what problems is the company interested in solving, and how are they going about it? Or what problems can you solve yourself? Like what things can you identify that are things to need solved, and what skills have you learned to go about solving them? So.
Okay, thank you. Miss Veronica.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to, ask any of us tennis alumni for help to get your foot in the door or resume across whomever it needs to, you know, whichever desk we need to send it across, because that's what Bucknellians do. We help one another.
I think that's what's so great about being a Bucknellian. I tell all my friends that are ever looking at Bucknell, like that when you graduate from Bucknell, or even if you're wearing like a Bucknell hoodie and you attended at the time, when you meet people that go to Bucknell, they're just so excited. It's such a tight-knit community.
So I would say one of the best parts of my job is watching the girls grow up from like freshmen all the way up to their senior year. And so Dax is a sophomore now, and we've had several conversations in my office, you know, for the first year that she was here. And one thing about Dax is that anything that she loves to learn. So any advice that she gives, I know that she'll take to heart, and she'll listen to it. So and she's a great communicator with it. She's got a kind heart too. So all right, one last question. It's kind of a fun one. I'll start with you, Chelsea. Okay. Who was the teammate you admired the most and why?
Oh gosh, I was like having such a hard time with this one because I was thinking about my girls and I was just like, well, I just so admired like Tanya's consistency and angles. And then I like admired Ronnie's ability to just like never give up and always have like total confidence that she could do it. She never looked like she was down on the court ever. And then Nada was another one that I really looked up to because she just found a way. It was like she didn't care if she had to play your game, my game, somebody else's game. Like she did not care. She was just going to figure out, you know, your weaknesses. She was going to moonball until you missed if she had to. And she was number one player. Like she didn't care what it looked like. She was just going to win. And I think that that mindset was just something to watch over the years. So yeah, like those three really, they really stick out to me. I really can't have a hard time picking just one. So yeah, I'm thinking about tennis perspective. I could think about personality perspective too and go a different answer, but I'll go with the tennis answer on that one.
What type of tennis player were you? How would you describe your game?
Oh, I just like sat back and waited until they missed.
Well,
Yeah, I pretty much
She got to everything.
Yeah, just ran, and waited until they missed.
from what little I know of you, you seem like a fighter.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Yeah, similar to Chelsea. I mean, I think everyone on the team were incredible leaders. You know, Chelsea came on as a walk-on and being told by coach that you weren't going to play in the lineup. And then I think halfway through your freshman year, you were always in the lineup and ended up on the all-time list. You know, Ronnie coming in, also an incredibly consistent game and, you know, just fiery, but nice and kind to people. Some of the older girls on the team when I was there, Samantha Berto, I always, her kindness and thoughtfulness to everyone was always a marker for me as like how to be a leader, how much she really cared about people. You know, Nada as an international player, I can't, even though we would often joke about it, she had an incredibly hard path, you know, coming here, and she really excelled and rose above it. And yeah.
Great. What kind of player were you? How do you describe your game?
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent and goals. My serve's gotten better.
Oh, good. Good. Lauren, how about you?
Oh, gosh, there's, you know, I loved all the girls for a different reason. But tennis wise, I would probably say Tanya Varela and then Paulina Gamboa. They I would probably say, you know, both of them. They were my whole career, like all 4 years, I was playing doubles with either like one of them. I learned, you know, so much from them. Just, you know, fighting through. Paulina was just like a jack of all trades. Like something broke, Paulina could fix it. She'd like string your racket and she'd be like doing 9 things at once, but like, and she had the biggest heart, and she was such a fighter and a really good role model for, you know, I remember being like a freshman coming in and she was a junior, and she was a, you know, great role model. And Tanya was just so like, she had such a personality, and she was such like a spitfire, and she was so good. So watching her play and compete, and just this fiery, you know, personality on the court, it was really fun to, you know, to watch and to play with, and to see, you know, watching her like made you want to get on the court and like play and fight, and, you know, challenge yourself as well.
So what's your favorite shot?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I love my swinging backhand. I'm like not like, I'm like the opposite of you girls. I like would kill the ball. I am like all about power coming in. I love like swinging volleys and coming in and like putting the ball away. Yeah.
That's Dax's game too. Veronica, you're last, so I hope you have something else to add too. Maybe they took everything, but I was gonna say, Tanya, your angles were just like, I hated playing her because like her angles, you couldn't even do anything with them. You're just like, nice shot. Okay, next point. I was like, don't give it to her forehand, backhand. She had the two-handed forehand. So I will say, you know, obviously this is a hard question for me to answer, but it was Chelsea. I mean, your 4 years, just your hard work and dedication and just grinding and moving up from, you know, being 6th on the team as a walk-on to then playing 2 singles as a senior. Like, I just admired your work ethic and just your persistence to never give up. And I still admire you because you're applying that in your everyday life.
Thanks, Veronica. Love you.
How about you, Veronica? What's your favorite shot? I don't know if I had a favorite one. I would say my backhand was probably the most consistent. Okay. But just thinking about also what type of player I was, it's funny you all saying consistent, because I probably would have been like, I would like to have been consistent, but
always can never be consistent enough.
Right?
Yeah. So, well, thank you, everyone. It was really nice to meet you all. I learned so much, and I know Dax did too. So we'll be talking about it tomorrow. I know we will. So thank you.
Well,
All right.
Most importantly, beat Lehigh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So wrapping up, guys, I want to just first of all turn my attention to Dax. And Dax, thanks so much. I know classes just started and you're trying to get back in the groove of things, but thanks for being here tonight. And I hope you can take the messages that you got from this great group of alums back to your teammates and share with them all the great advice that they gave. It's not often you get an opportunity to be on a call with 4 such accomplished players, over 600 wins between the 4 of them, and all the things they've done for Bucknell. So thanks again for being here, and stay safe this semester, and we'll be cheering you on and hoping that you're going to get on these courts behind me and do some really great things. So thank you so much.
Thank you
to the alums. Yeah. To the alums, thanks ladies for making the time. This is always a great hour for us to catch up, and it's great to see how well you have all done since you left Bucknell. Not only did you represent the team so well here as a player, but you've represented the institution great as alumni since you've been out of school. So congratulations on all that you've done and all that you've achieved. And most importantly, thank you for what you've done for the women's tennis program since you left. You know, we joke around a little bit about the indoor courts, but we all know the facilities we have at Bucknell, we wouldn't have any of them without the support we get from our alumni. So thank you so much for all that you do. And then for those of you tuned in tonight at home to watch, thanks for doing so, and go Bison.